Thank you, members of the press. This is the board of Maseno School. And on my right, you have Dr. Obondi, who is the chair of the PTA. On my left, you have...
My right.
Yeah. On my right, you have Professor Omolongati. And we have other members who have not come, and that is Dr. Juliana. They are on the way. She's on the way. Dr. Lango is also on the way. And Dr. Chola has sent his apologies, and Gitau and Miomo. We are forced by circumstances to call this press conference in the view of what following the latest development of Maseno School. Maseno School problem started some time back with the allegation that there was sodomy in the school. Investigation was instituted by various arms of the government, but nothing came to it. Even the student, or the second student who was supposedly somewhat sodomized, did not eventually said that he was not. But however, it's the authorities continued with the investigation, and as a result of that investigation, nothing came to it. But what has surprised us is that despite our talking to the CS, I remember he's someone that's way back to Nairobi, and we attended. We had a fruitful meeting, and he assured us that there was nothing wrong with the school. But what surprised us is that immediately after we had talked, Otula, the principal, received suspension, and Mr. Bob was posted to the school. But students rejected Mr. Bob together with the parents. And we had a discussion with the TSC during our board meeting, and we had agreed that the deputy principal takes over. In the meantime, they look for an alternative head principal. But come on Thursday, we were told that the principal, who is Mr. Otula, has been interdicted, and Bob came to the school. The board members felt that this one is not the way to treat Maseno School, and we are left with no alternative but to tender our resignation en masse.
Yes, on behalf of the parents, sorry to say this because I know most of them are going to be shocked. We have really interrogated ourselves as parents, even with investigations which we did on our children, physically with them, asking them questions, was negative. When we were assured by the minister, the CS, that they didn't find anything wrong on those allegations which were in the social media and even the electronics media, they told us they didn't find anything, so they gave us green bill of health to go back and settle down and work hard. The minister even sent the director of quality and standards, Mr. Zioka, who came to the school and addressed the parents of Form 1 who were doing election that day, and they even read the speech which was written from the ministry to the parents. Even the regional coordinator here addressed the parents, and they assured the parents that there is nothing they have found wrong in the school. So we took that seriously because parents are also concerned on the safety of their children. After that, after our settling down, we read through the media that Mr. Tula is being sent a show cause letter. Mr. Tula read his letter before the letter to the media before the letter reached him. That really surprised us. And we left that alone. So the event continued like this. We have had several meetings, even with the church, allegations kept on going on. Every time they mention other schools where there are problems, Maseno is the first school to be mentioned. That has really affected our children, created a lot of stigma. Our children are stigmatized, and nobody, even the church, who is the sponsor, has come up to protect our children. The future, we don't know about their future, because every day they go now, the people are just giving the names of rapists, sodomies, which is not true, and nobody's telling the whole country, even the world, that these things are not true. Even the ministry has not come to defend our children. So they continue playing cat and ping pong game with the future of our children, and we don't know where everything is heading to. So as a board, we have sat down, we have interrogated ourselves, even our role has been ignored. We have meetings, we include all stakeholders, parents, even the church, who is the sponsor, and we are surprised that they also have separate meetings with the ministry. We meet here, and they meet aside again with the ministry. And they've been very economical with the information they get there. Nobody's telling us what transpires. We only see negative activities, which are negating our common stand as the PTA and the board. Because we have put the common stand that any change which is going to be done in the school need a amicable solution and even negotiation. Stakeholders must sit down and decide. Because even if you want to bring any other person to the school, we have to do background check. We know who is coming, who is going to be involved with our children. So that's where we are concerned, and that's where I'm very sorry, because even we were supposed to have our AGM last Friday. The AGM was cancelled by the ministry without consulting any of us as parents. We just had the message from the school that no GM has been cancelled by the ministry. Nobody has ever bothered to ring us, tell us, and the AGM is set on the school calendar, which is supposed to be known even early in the term, and this is the time where people are doing prize giving. So we are thinking that our services are not needed there. People, the ministry and the church think they can run the school without involving us as the PTA and the board. So we sincerely tender our resignation so that we don't give credibility to the process which is going on at this moment.
And to add to that, I think the thing which has been going on, the so-called investigation, I think I can just only term it is tribalistic witch hunt, which is being fueled by inflated personal egos. And this is not good to the school at all or any other institution at all. The school has got stakeholders who must be consulted, and the major stakeholder in the school is the child. If what they are saying is true over Tula, what we could have had was a celebration, not a protest by the students. And this one I made very clear to the TSC that whatever they were doing was not in tandem with whatever the situation which was in the school, which was in the school at that time. Because if they were saying Mr. Tula was harsh to the students and the parents would have celebrated, but instead the student protested. We brought this one to the attention of the CS and the TSC, and they concurred with us at that time. And we are now surprised with the turn of events which has come all of a sudden. And that's why I term it somehow that it is a witch hunt, which is, I would say, is rather tribalistic and fueled by inflated personal egos. Thank you.
And curiously, in the so-called investigations which were presented to the board, one sentence said that they had interviewed Mr. Tula when they came to the school, and that was on the 1st. On the same day, we were in the office of the CS in Nairobi with the same Mr. Tula. And they also further said that they had interviewed the student who was supposedly have been sodomized, but that student left days before, on the 24th, before we even went to see the CS. But in the report, they were saying that they had interviewed the student, and nobody knows where they interviewed the student. And we got a write-up from the student who said that he was never sodomized, but there was an attempt to sodomize, and the letter was not dated, it was not signed at all. And this makes us believe that all this that was being said had no serious, investigation at all. But usually, when you want somebody to stand aside, and on the same day you come with a permanent replacement, that is what made us to be curious, that if one is standing aside, it means a decision has been made. But even if the decision had been made, then you don't have to come with somebody to replace the person immediately. And curiously, people are saying that the board maybe does not want a change. The board wants a change. The board does not transfer teachers. And they say that Mr. Tula had stayed in the school for long, but then you do not transfer yourself. There was no time that he had been asked to go on transfer, and he refused. But then the person replacing him has had cases. First, there was a case in Beta where the same person was involved. And secondly, there was a case in Kanga where the same person was involved. But then after that, rumors has it that he said now he's going to be taken to Maseno if people do not want him to land. And then that is why we feel that all this is a witch hunt. But then whatever happens, I think somebody somewhere is out to spoil the good name of Maseno School.
We are the way you see us here, excluding 3 people who are in Nairobi and they could not have traveled today. That is Mr. Charles Gitau, but they are aware they are with us in this issue. Mr. Julius Miyumo and Dr. Achola Okudo. Dr. Langonod is on his way here. He's also a member of the board. And Ms. Umbija is also a member. They are on their way, they're coming.
What's the procedure of this resignation? Who is the board responsible?
Then?
And how does the board resign? Where do you present the resignation?
Our resignation. We are telling the country that we are resigning. That's all.
You are appointed, we have declined.
We can't continue working, yes.
So whatever
in the circumstances which has been presented to us, it's as if our services are not needed, our advice are not needed, our are not needed, and in that place we have got no moral authority to be there. Remember, when this thing happened, one of the resolutions we had during the previous board meeting, where the TSC was and Ministry of Education was that one of the resolutions was that the deputy takes over, be given a takeover. Then thereafter, they can. In the meantime, the ministry, in consultation with the board, can look for an alternative principle to bring to the town, because Mr. Bob had been rejected by the parents and as well as the students. So, in those circumstances, and we agreed, and that's a resolution we had, and we made this one in the presence, we announced this one in the assembly, in the presence of the TSCP. Now,
the board has a role in management and running. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your exit is not noticed. At what point does it leave the management?
At what?
Or the dilemma leaves the school.
But if your services are not required, the people, the appointing authorities, feel that they can run the school the way they want.
The dilemma, so I'm glad you have asked. If they knew we had something to do in the school, then the board should have been consulted so that you are told this is what we are doing and ABCD is going to happen. But then we just hear things happening without involving the board. That is why we feel that our services are no longer needed. At one time, when we discussed, we were threatened that if we do not accept whatever they are accepting, suggesting to bring him, then the CS is going to disband the board. But then we told them to go ahead because this is a voluntary work. All of us are busy people. We have Dr. Juliana there, the one in charge of Jaramogi Odinga Hospital. Dr. Bondi, senior surgeon. We have Engineer Orege, who is also a senior citizen. We have Millicent. We have Cholambero, an old boy, and we have other people. Dr. Nodi. I'm a professor, and I do a lot of work in my place of work. So coming to the meeting really means a sacrifice. I have to sacrifice my time to come to meetings of Maseno School. But if one can decide and say things are happening, whether you like it or not, then we feel that it is not in good taste. We cannot go on being treated like small children as if we gain from the school. We do not gain from the school. We just want the school to be run well. And the reasons for the interdictions, those ones will follow the channel, but then bullying, there have been bullying in schools, and there have been schools banned where the CS has reacted very fast.